and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I am so happy to see you again, and today I have a cute little apartment here in San Myshuno that I am renovating, and I did in fact take out all of the windows, and I will be replacing them with windows that don't really match the building, but that's just kind of what I felt like doing for this build. Sometimes I try to match the building, and sometimes I'm just like, I'd rather just use whatever windows I wanted to. And I'm not gonna lie, when I started, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but when I was doing the floor plan, I was like, I think I want this cute little like sliding door into the more like the bedroom office area, like the private living quarters versus like the common areas of the apartment. And I came across this sliding door. I think it's from the Myshuno stuff pack, I believe, if I remember correctly, and I loved it so much. And I came across that black and red swatch, and I don't know why, but I just felt so compelled to use it. So that is why this build is literally just like white, black, and red, and I think it turned out really cool, but I did struggle a bit with it, especially when it came to like the common areas. Trying to utilize that really bright red became difficult for me. Just like, well, first of all, trying to find swatches that actually match because I know The Sims, it has like all of these different swatches just for the same color, and so it can be a little bit difficult at times, but I think it came out super well. And these windows here that I'm using in the bedroom are from the Greenhouse Haven kit. I think that's the name of it. I'm telling you that I feel like we have so many packs now that it is so hard for me to remember the exact name of all of them, but it's the Greenhouse kit. That's the one. And I don't know, I think it's because it was a diagonal wall. It made the window slightly wider, and then it became really annoying to actually put curtains on it for some reason. It just like didn't work quite right. Like I finally got some curtains that I had to size down, and I got them to where I wanted them and all of that kind of stuff, but then it kept doing this weird thing where every time I tried to like paint a room or like delete certain things, it would just get rid of the curtains. So I tried to keep them throughout the whole build, but at the very end, I think I lost them again. So, you know, you'll see me put curtains there, but they won't be there at the end of the build, and they're not there what's on the gallery. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID, spicensprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And I also use hashtag spicensprinkles on my more recent builds so that it hopefully is a little bit easier to find these builds if you'd like to. And if you've never actually downloaded an apartment off of the gallery before, I wanted to go ahead and warn you that you have to upload it as a room. So don't look for it as like a lot. It has to be a room, which is like, I really wish they would update how you actually upload apartments, because what a lot of people end up doing, which is what I did, I ended up actually having to delete a few of the walls because you have to get the whole apartment to be recognized as one room. And to do that, you can just delete a few walls and it'll think the whole thing is one room, so you can actually upload it as one unit. So if you download it and place it on this lot, then you'll just have to put a few of the walls back. And I just wanted to say that in case you haven't done that before, that is why some of the that is why some of the walls will be missing. It's just because I need the game to recognize it as one room. I know that you can, I think you can actually like draw singular walls and place them and like do like shenanigans with that to actually get it to recognize as one room while still having the walls there, but I just opted to just delete the walls. I feel like that's a little bit easier, and I feel like less likely for the gallery to like do some weird stuff. And as always, be sure to use bb.move objects when you are placing this, which basically just allows you to overlap objects and like let objects be in the space of other objects. And I know that sounds really weird. Sometimes I like to talk about it just because, like, you know, if you're new to The Sims or new to speed builds and you're trying to download stuff and you have items disappearing, that's probably what's happening. And I feel like, you know, I do this so often, I don't think about mentioning it. But of course, if you ever have any questions like that, be sure to just, you know, ask them in the comments. I try to get to all my comments and answer the questions to the best of my ability. And on that note too, like, be sure to let me know if there's stuff that you kind of want to see. I do have a few builds that I've got like kind of lined up that I want to do. Right now I have another build later on this week that will be coming out, and it is like this big modern farmhouse that took me so long to build, which is actually why I ended up doing just like a small apartment for this, because that other build just took me so long. I feel like I don't do very many huge builds just because I feel like I can't help myself. I have to add a lot of clutter and just like so much detail. Like I really enjoy doing that. So I feel like it takes me so much longer to do builds maybe than other people. Also, sometimes I can be a little bit indecisive, I'm not going to lie, but I think this really turned out super well. Like I actually messed around even with the clutter in the bathroom here for a little while. Like I ended up putting that like picture frame thing there, but I do end up taking it out and replacing it for one of the Book Nook kits, like poster looking things. I just thought that looked a little bit better, but I think I end up putting that picture frame unit in this little like I don't know what you would call this area. I ended up putting laundry in there and a space where you get to the like bathroom and the office and not the bathroom, the bedroom and the office and all of that. So, and also there's like an airplane I think flying over. So if you hear a random weird sound in the background, that's what that is. So hopefully he'll be gone really soon. But I ended up putting the picture frames in there. So those you can actually place the pictures you take in game, like your Sims take in there. And I thought that would just be really cute. I feel like a lot of times I don't end up utilizing those items just because when I take screenshots and stuff, they're empty. And so sometimes I feel like it looks a little bit weird, but honestly, like for actual gameplay, especially if you're someone that likes taking pictures with their Sims, like it's really nice to have, somewhere for your Sim to place the photos that they take. And I will say that I feel like this office looks a little bit cramped. This has been play tested, so fingers crossed you shouldn't have any issues unless, the game just kind of does whatever it wants to, which is, it does that. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like sometimes I make my build, I play test it, it's all good, and then I go back into it, and then the Sim's like, no, I can't get around that item. So hopefully you don't have any issues, but I did try my best to make sure everything was good to go. But I kind of made this super cute little office, and I started thinking, well, maybe the Sim is like an interior designer or something. Part of it is like that board that I put up there on the wall. I think it's the board that actually comes with Dream Home Decorator for that interior design career. So I kind of put that in here, and I'm not gonna lie, you can tell every time I do a room, I feel like the wallpaper and the floor are like the last things I do, or like closer to the end, just because it was just difficult in trying to decide, like, with this kind of swatch, like if I use a black rug, I didn't want to use like black floors, and vice versa. If I did white, I didn't want like white rug, I didn't want white floors, just because it was like so much and it was so overwhelming. But the wallpaper in here I think turned out super, super cute. And I think later on end up swapping out that chair, not the desk chair, but the other sitting chair in the corner, because I put like a little like reading nook in the living room area, and I wanted a chair for it. And I just really liked that chair, and I didn't necessarily want it to have a duplicate, so I'm pretty sure I swapped it out. And in this, I had thought about putting like a double like archway thing, just kind of doing something interesting, but I ended up using these folding doors instead, which I thought's kind of cool, especially like, if you have two Sims living here, like a Sim could like go and sleep and like be in like the private quarters of the apartment while maybe some people are over, like something like that. Now, obviously that's not something that actually like bothers your Sims in the game, but I don't know. Those are realistic things that I like to think about. And I will say I messed a lot around with this like area here next to this doorway, because I wanted to do this like see-through area for the kitchen, because the kitchen is a little bit small. I mean, your Sim has plenty of room to do whatever they need to do, but I tried to make it kind of interesting. Like, I feel like I've been more into doing like weird architectural things, and I don't want to say like actually weird, but like different for me anyways, and trying to like, I don't know, like make it more aesthetically pleasing. Like, I like the idea. I ended up putting like a big window in the kitchen, so you could actually like see through that window, like from the like dining area, because I thought that would be really nice. Like in real life, you'd be able to see out and everything. And I think this turned out super well. I do end up using this like arrow light in the like foyer area because I really liked it, but I don't know, I really liked having this picture here in the dining room. And I use these shelves here from For Rent, and I will say, like, I've taken a few breaks recently from just content just because of life, and For Rent came out around the time I took one of my breaks. And I forgot that shelf existed because I, usually like a pack comes out and I just build a ton. And so like I get used to what items, or I often do like an item review, like a build by overview, but I haven't for the last few packs just because I, didn't have a chance to. And like, I don't think I've even actually bought the new like party kit thing that we got. Again, I have no clue what it's called, but I haven't actually bought that yet. I need to, and really like look through the items for myself to remind myself kind of what's in there. I've watched some people do some reviews, but let me know what you think of it. I need to do it, and I'm trying to decide if I actually want to make a full build for it, if that makes sense. Like if I want to dedicate a whole build just to that party pack, but I don't know, we'll see. I have before made a like children's birthday party venue, which is up on the gallery if you want to like look that up. And so I made it like super cute just for like kids' birthday parties, and I think that turned out really well. So I don't know, maybe I need to do something like that again. I don't know. I feel like that pack, just like I haven't actually gotten it and really like looked through it myself, but I'm wondering if it's like super useful for gameplay, if that makes sense, but maybe not necessarily just for like straight up building. But like let me know if you have any ideas maybe that you might want to see. And I will say that like in this living room area, I feel like I struggled with curtains. I feel like I struggled with curtains like in this whole entire build, but I tried to use those dine out curtains there because I figured, oh, it kind of looks like, the sim would like pull them across, like it's just this big, like elegant, like drapery, but I end up getting rid of those and replacing it. I think I end up replacing it with the For Rent curtains because I actually really do like those, and they remind me of the ones that we got with, was it Desert Luxe, I believe is the ones, like we got those first windows that like, or excuse me, first curtains that had like the pieces that made it look like you could pull it across. And I don't know, I think I ended up swapping out for that because I thought those were kind of lovely, and really trying to balance the amount of red that was in here because I didn't want it to be overwhelming, but I really wanted there to be a lot of like red pops around this area. But since it was so open, I wanted to be careful that it wasn't just like which is overwhelming. And so I think that's what ended up happening. Like I struggled so much with this living room area. I experimented with honestly so many things with the fireplace and like putting things behind the TV, and just like, because again, I thought maybe if this sim was like an interior designer, then like, they would have like these interesting wall features and things like that. And I don't know, I really, I've tried a bunch of stuff, but I'm really happy with what I ended up like landing on. I will say, I think at some point it kind of just pops over, and I end up having like some mirrors behind the TV, and that's what we end up going with because it was taking me so long to figure it out. I was like, this is going to be like horrible to watch in a speed build. So I ended up pausing the recording so you didn't have to see me like test like a bunch of different stuff. And I kept having this issue. It's so funny. So since there's that little wall right there in the kitchen, I ended up like every time I tried to put something on the back wall of the kitchen, it would clip to like the wall that that doorway is on. And so I had to fix it. You can kind of see like right now that those like spoons and stuff are actually attached to the wall that the door frame is on and not the wall of the kitchen. So I didn't even notice it either until I went and took screenshots, and I was like, wait, that's not right. So I had to like fix it and retake some of those screenshots, which is so funny. And I ended up too, when I was like doing some of this editing and putting the screenshots in, I realized that I missed I missed one of the screenshots that actually had that weird like spoon hanging in the air. So I ended up having to like go back in and retake that screenshot, but I just thought it was kind of funny. And here I was really struggling again with this couch situation, like what I wanted to do, because I had that little reading nook in the back and I really loved it. And again, since I had red curtains, I didn't want like a red chair, but I ended up swapping it out for black curtains and using a red chair because I just thought that like the color balance was a lot better that way, and just having that nice pop of red back there was really nice without it being just too much. And I end up adding in here like a couch and then a chair over in the corner. And I even like messed with the idea of putting an easel in here, and I'm actually trying to remember, did that easel stay? I'm telling you, I really tried so many different things in this living room that like I'm trying to remember exactly what I ended up with. I literally recorded this yesterday from when I'm filming this voiceover, and I literally already don't remember because it just took me so long to get it right. And because I wanted obviously a little bit of pop of red in the living room area, but I didn't want it to be too much. Like I didn't want it to be super overwhelming. So I think I end up keeping that coffee table as the pop of red and just keeping the furniture as like the black and white. And eventually I'm going to swap this out and just do the mirrors behind the TV, and then putting in like a little floating shelf below the TV. I think I actually end up using the upper cabinets from the kitchen, which is actually a really good tip. If you're trying to do just like a small floating shelf, then you can actually just use like kitchen shelves and kitchen cabinets, the upper cabinets, and use the like tiny like short swatch, and you can just kind of place those wherever on the wall. And I think that actually ends up being really cool. And I really liked these like alternating like wood pieces. I feel like I'm going to use that in another build, but it just didn't quite look right here between the wallpaper being that like gray kind of color, and then like the red was too overwhelming, like, so I end up actually, like I said, swapping it out for the mirrors, which I don't know how much sense it makes really to have a TV somehow mounted on top of mirrors, but you know what, it's The Sims and I don't have to worry about that, so I did it anyways. And I just really liked that extra pop of red on the wall. I think it just made a whole lot of, you know, sense here. And I did end up using the tool mod a little bit here. You can see I've got that like leaf piece there from Eco Lifestyle above that like big door, and I end up using the tool mod to twist it. And if you don't know what the tool mod is, it's basically a mod that you can download for building that by Twisted Mexi. All of a sudden I was like combining the two parts of that name. But it allows you to actually rotate items and size items really particularly without it being like, you know, sizing a rug, you can do it exactly how much you want. So I end up using it to kind of twist it around because I thought it would look really cool there. I don't use it super often, and I'm honestly not super good at using it because it can do so many things and I just don't know how to do all of those things. I've seen some people use like the tool mod to do some incredible builds, like it's totally like insane the things people can do, but I ended up using it because I just thought it made a whole lot of sense and it looked really pretty to have that there. And I sometimes use it to actually take mirrors and swap them, because if there's like a tall mirror I like but I'd rather it be kind of oriented the other way, I'll use it to flip it, and I think that actually really helps too if you're doing just like base game only. It gives you more flexibility and the kind of items you can use, if that makes sense. Like, it just makes things a little more versatile. And then I just kind of do this cute little entryway with some seating and this little table there with some letters on it, and I just try to make it really homey here when you walk in. And I figured, oh, your sim can look in the mirror when they leave, like all of that kind of good stuff. Even though they don't actually do that, I like that little bit of a realistic touch. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.